What up, world? I want to just give my quick takes about the first round as of so far, as we're pretty much a little over halfway of each of these series, entering into pretty much game fives, game six, and going on and so forth. So, as the number one, we do have the Milwaukee Bucks swept the Miami Heat. Already gave my take on that. Disappointing season for the Miami Heat coming from the NBA Finals and 6 games to the Lakers to getting swept in the first round against a team that they pretty much gentleman sweep last season. Now, I've always stated at the beginning of the season that I expected the Miami Heat to pretty much lose in the first round, um, at most the second round. But, even though it was weird for me to kind of envision that they lose in the first round due to their talent, but um, it's just the way the NBA cycle goes. So, was not too shocked. I was just shocked more about it being in a sweep. I did have the Milwaukee Bucks winning that series in 6 games, but they pretty much dismantled the Miami Heat. So kudos to Giannis Antetokounmpo, man. Big kudos. With the New York Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks series, that's been a fun, energetic series to say the least. Trey Young knows how to get the crowd going, kind of like Steph Curry in the Oracle. Um, Trey Young does have that similar game. When it comes to Trey Young, I mean, he is like around 22 years of age, so he's got a lot more basketball to play with. But big case for him. I mean, his third season making the playoffs, and pretty much going to be advancing to the second round. So the Hawks are energetic, man. I did have the Knicks winning this series in 7 games before when I had my predictions. So let's see how that plays out as they're going back to New York for a game five. And the Knicks have not been playing Elfrid Payton and barely as much for Nerlens Noel. Having Taj Gibson and Derrick Rose in the starting lineup, I think that kind of threw him off a little. But Tom Thibodeau loves his veterans, especially in the playoffs. They play less guys, so who knows about that? Julius Randle's got to get things turned around as well. But yeah, it looks like the Hawks are going to win that series, and the Hawks and the Philadelphia 76ers second round actually should be a good one as well. Speaking of Philly, they're up 3 games to 1 against Washington. We got to see what happens with Joel Embiid and the injury he did have in that, I believe it was the third quarter or so against Washington. The Wizards were able to pretty much not squeak out that win, but take advantage of the fourth quarter as it was just Ben Simmons and Furkan kind of leading the way. Tobias Harris and the crew, but the Wizards they hack a Ben Simmons. Simmons was around, I believe, 2 of 6 on the free throw line during that tenure, and Philadelphia lost the game as this was a good win for Washington, man, for Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook. Davis Bertans, he's going to be out for the series, so let's see what happens when they go back to Philly, if there's going to be Embiid or not, looking upon those reports. But it's looking like Philadelphia and Atlanta for the second round as of so far. Last one in the Eastern Conference is the Brooklyn Nets against the Boston Celtics. The Celtics did beat the Nets in Game 3. Kudos to Jason Tatum scoring 50 points. Celtics, again, I said in the offseason, they got to retool this team. They got to address the point guard situation, let around. Bring in the true center, man. I've stated for center, go for Steven Adams. And for a point guard, go for either Malcolm Brogdon or Lonzo Ball. That's my position. It is what it is. You got to get Kemba Walker out of there, man. And Jaylen Brown, you got to wait for him to heal up. But it's one of those years for a team that you just kind of fall off and you lose in the first round. I expect the Celtics to retool next season in a better manner. But the Nets, they got this on lock, man. You have the big three. And that Milwaukee Bucks Brooklyn Nets series, now that's going to be a very interesting one. That's going to be a long series. I expect 6 to 7 games, but I'll give my take when that time comes. Over into the Western Conference, let's see the Jazz and the Grizzlies. The Jazz did defeat the Grizzlies last game. The Grizzlies won their first game whenever there was no Donovan Mitchell, but the rest of these games have been close as it is. But the Grizzlies don't have the veterans to pretty much close out the deal, and the Jazz are a championship contending type team who can do so. So, Jazz, I fully expect them to finish off the series in 5 games. But who knows? I could see a Memphis pull off a Game 5 upset. At most, this is going 6 games. But nothing too much on this series. The Clippers and Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks folded the last 2 games on their home court. Luka Doncic, last game, you could really see in his body language that he's injured out there. And it's troubling when it comes to his neck / his shoulder. And the Clippers, man, they got the momentum. The Dallas Mavericks folded in Game 3 in the end of the first quarter whenever they were up. I believe it was 20-5, something around that time. And Rick Carlisle took out Luka Doncic at a worse time, and the Clippers scored around 16 points in 2 minutes and turned it around. And the Dallas Mavericks were never able to get over that mental hurdle ever again. Going back to LA, let's see if the Dallas Mavericks and the road teams can take off the wins, as it's been consistent for 4 out of 4 times. But as of so far, the Clippers are looking more stable as it is, due to the Dallas Mavericks losing momentum, dropping 2 games on home court, being the younger team, and Luka Doncic's injury. But who knows about that? Originally, I did have the Clippers winning this series in 7 games. Let's see how this turns out. I fully expect this to go 7 games. But who knows? Let's see. The Denver Nuggets and Portland Trailblazers. This has been a very interesting back and forth series. I mean, the Blazers took out the Nuggets Game 1 by good force. Game 2 and Game 3, the Nuggets were able to take out the Blazers. And then Game 4, the Blazers were able to pretty much blow out the Denver Nuggets. So I expect this series, it's looking like it's going to go 7 games as I predicted. Now, I did have the Nuggets winning these series in 7 games originally, so that still could be the trend, but who knows about that. I'm still going to have the Denver Nuggets to win the series. Now, the Portland Trailblazers, they are healthy, so they should win the series, but who knows about it. Let's see here. The Phoenix Suns and LA Lakers. Now, this got tied up due to the Suns winning last game on the road on LA. Anthony Davis is hurt. He is questionable for Game 5, so this is going to be a pivotal game within the series. I'm not freaking out if you're the Lakers, man. You've seen LeBron James in 2018. He was down 3-2 to the Indiana Pacers. Actually, let me backtrack. Was he down 3-2 or was he up 3-2 in that Game 6? I would have to look back upon that. But when it comes to LeBron James, he can overcome a 3-2 deficit. He's done so many times. Like in 2013 with the Boston Celtics, or my bad, 2012, down 3-2 to the Boston Celtics in the conference finals, down 2-1 to the Indiana Pacers in 2012, the second round series, and so on and so forth. LeBron can overcome this, but he's going to have to put a resilient effort out there, and the team's going to have to step up for them to squeak out that win if there's no AD. But I still have the Lakers the Lakers are still looking good to win that series. As of right now in the moment, you would say no, but we'll take it step by step upon that. But as of so far, the first round has been good to say the least. One of the surprises on my end, of course, was the Bucks sweep. The Hawks taking a 3-1 series lead. And I would have to say the LA versus Dallas, every team winning on the road. So that's been up in the air. But as of so far, let's see how this thing plays out, man.